A recent study found that the city of Santa Clarita is carrying the most credit card debt per household of any city in the nation. On your sites, Kristine Lazar shows us how one resident was able to pay down more than $50,000 on her credit cards.
According to that Wallet Hub study, the average Santa Clarita household carries more than $21,600 in credit card debt. One local woman had more than double that, but she managed to pay it off without any fancy budgeting apps or by taking out any consolidation loans.
This one. What's this one?
TV.
Newly married with a new baby,
What's this one?
Orange.
Yanique Stapleton Birch was drowning in debt.
How high did your debt reach?
It was over 50,000.
What was that like to open your credit card bills every month with that much hanging over your head?
Daunting. It was very daunting and stressful.
Stapleton Birch had 5 cards she was carrying balances on.
And why do you have so many credit cards?
Because I kept getting offered different cards and I wasn't as educated around financial responsibility at the time. I was much younger.
After carrying $54,000 in debt for over a year, Stapleton Birch turned to her bank, which referred her to the debt relief counseling service, Money Management International.
They looked at my situation. They put me on a plan where I gave them a payment and they contacted all of my creditors and they consolidated my debts and they gave me a payment plan that I had to stick with month to month to be able to pay off my debt in 4 years.
The stay-at-home mom and her husband did a combination of cutting and budgeting, canceling subscriptions they didn't need, eating out less, and tracking what they spend on essentials, from groceries to utilities. Stapleton Birch didn't pay for a fancy budgeting app. She just kept detailed notes on her iPhone. And here's the key. She and her husband didn't use credit cards at all while they paid down their debt.
What was that like?
It was hard at first to put yourself on such a discipline, but we got the hang of it and we made it work.
Stapleton Birch says the biggest obstacle to confronting her debt was shame. She was afraid to admit that she needed help.
We hear that all the time, that people, sort of limped along for years or even decades carrying a lot of debt because they just were too embarrassed and had too much shame, and there was too much stigma about opening up and having a conversation about it.
Thomas Nitzsche is a financial educator at Money Management International. It's seen a 38% year-over-year increase in Californians seeking help with their debt.
Our average client in California comes to us with almost $30,000 in unsecured debt.
Money Management is a not-for-profit company. It boasts that it reduces credit card interest rates to around 7%. Its clients only pay a small monthly fee, around $20, for the company to then manage their debt and make payments on those cards. If debt is already in collections, it can help with settlement negotiations.
Because ultimately, creditors want you to succeed. They want to be repaid, obviously, and they also want you to be a future customer.
Stapleton Birch is back to using credit cards, but she says she is a much more cautious consumer. She wants her success to inspire others.
I think some people are afraid to take this on because they think it's just not possible. I have too much debt. What would you say to those people?
I would say to those people, there are resources in the world to help you. It is possible, one step at a time. That's what they say. You eat an elephant one bite at a time, and you can take on your debt 1 month at a time with your payments.
Stapleton Birch also built up her credit while paying down her debt. It was in the low 600s, and today it's in the mid 700s. Kristine Lazar, KCAL News.